Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you right now. Yep, players are calling out Lane Kiffin. Is he a liar? Everybody's wanting to know. I think we all know. Also, big recruiting update, man. There's so much going on. We've got the Michigan scandal, which I covered earlier today. We got Lane Kiffin. He's always a scandal.
How dare you?
And then, of course, it's National Signing Day. So we're going to get into all of that. Let's start out with Mr. Lane Kiffin. All right, yeah, this is all over the interwebs. Ole Miss players are suggesting Lane Kiffin lied about his exit in his farewell statement. Let's see, one player said, "That was not the message you said in the meeting room. Everybody that was in there can vouch on this." Another fella said, "Despite the team asking me to keep coaching, I think everybody that was in that room would disagree." So in other words, he's saying, despite the team asking me, no, they were not asking him. And multiple players have said that's BS. That's not the only falsehood. Had to come up with another name. I was getting tired of saying lie.
Allegedly.
The athletic director came out and he talked about him. Lane Kiffin said he didn't know until this past Sunday morning that he would not be allowed to coach in the college football playoff if he took the LSU job. Here's Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter publicly refuting that claim. This is from Caleb Sailors, and this is Morning with Richard Cross.
When was Lane Kiffin told that he would not coach Ole Miss in the playoff? Because he very publicly has said over and over that that is something that he wanted to do and didn't seem to be able to understand why that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things he said publicly that I'm not sure are totally accurate. I think that both coach and his representation knew, several weeks ago that the coaching in the playoffs was not going to be an option if he was not the Ole Miss head coach. And, I think
him finding out at 8:30 on Sunday morning for the very first time that he would not be coaching the playoff is not accurate?
No, that's not accurate.
And this is all over the place. Bleacher Report, Sports Illustrated, Barstool. I mean, everybody's reporting. Everybody's showing this with the athletic director. This is funny. This is Lane Kiffin yoga. I don't know if it's accurate or not. He says, and it's talking about missing him at the yoga. It says, when he would start doing completely random workouts mid-class and not follow the instructor. Another person said, "I will miss him walking in late for class with that damn hoodie on, but knowing his mat is ready and waiting for him." Another one said, "and coming in 5 minutes late and leaving 20 minutes early." Hey, look, at least he showed up for yoga. I mean, that's saying something. And I could definitely see him wearing a hoodie going in there. That sounds like Lane perfectly. Anyway, so pretty much everybody's refuting what he has said. I've told you folks, he is a bad breaker-upper.
What? Breakup? We went out on one date.
Okay, yeah, sure, fine, right, whatever you say. So see you around. Big head.
Pardon?
You got a big head. It's too big for your body.
Yeah, when he leaves, no matter where he leaves, people can't stand him. I mean, it happened at Tennessee, that's for sure. It happened at USC. It happened at FAU. Alabama had to fire him. Nick Saban fired him because he wasn't focused on the playoffs. He was focused on going to FAU. And now he's leaving Ole Miss during the playoffs and says, well, I didn't even know I wasn't going to be able to coach. Of course you knew. Of course you knew you weren't going to be able to be coaches at two. You can't be head coach at two places at one time, especially when you're leaving a team for their biggest rival. And LSU is like, oh, we'd have let him, it wouldn't have been a problem. Yeah, that's because you're the mistress. You're getting the husband. You'll do whatever. I promise you this, LSU, if he'd been your coach for 6 years and got you in the playoff, and then all of a sudden he was going to Alabama, you wouldn't let him coach in that playoff. You'd be so mad at him, you'd run him out of Louisiana. So, look, this is Lane. This is why people can't stand him. That whole thing of I'm a changed guy and they went out and did that special about it, that's all BS. Lane is Lane. He will always be this way. And the players are seeing it and calling him out. And I'm here for it. I am here for this. As a Tennessee fan, I know he's a scoundrel. I know he's a snake. So when something comes up and goes tss, and lets you know that's a snake, don't touch it. It's going to bite you. Gonna bite you. Now let's get into recruiting, because this is a big recruiting day. Big. And this has all been updated from yesterday. USC is still sitting at number 1, Oregon at number 2, Notre Dame at number 3. Alabama has dropped a little bit to number 4. They were at number 2. Tennessee has jumped to number 5. Well, that's a heck of a move. Let's take a look and see what's going on with their commits if everybody is signed. Well, number 1 player, well, he's number 1 quarterback in the country, or should be, Faison Brandon. I think they dropped him to number 2 when they found out he was committed to Tennessee.
It's funny because it's true.
Tristan Keys, number 1 wide receiver, has signed. All these guys have signed. Another 5-star offensive tackle. Man, we got the 5 stars at offensive tackle. We protect our quarterbacks. All down the. Here's Carter Gooden. He is a big-time defensive lineman, 90th in the country. Got him as a flip from UCLA. He was their number 1 recruit. I'm sorry, UCLA. First, we burden you with NICO IAMALIAVA, and then we take your number 1 recruit. What did UCLA ever do to us? We're just smacking them and smacking them. Yeah. Thanks for Joey, though. We do appreciate that. Let's see, all down the line. Looks like pretty much everybody signed. I think there was one player down here that had not signed that we were concerned about. Moa. Moa is a top 100 athlete. He's supposed to be a wide receiver out of Utah, but we got a little issue. I think Utah's throwing money at him. They want him. Now, I was watching Bull over there at Blue Chip Breakdown. He gets down into the nitty-gritty on all these players. It's a great channel. And he would really like to see Moa at safety because he's a great athlete, and that's what he's listed as. But he's been recruited as a wide receiver, so there may be an issue there. And also, Utah may not be wanting him to leave that state because he's probably the number 1 player in the state. As a matter of fact, he is. So I'm sure they're not liking that. So he might be a little bit torn right now. Then we've got another defensive lineman. It's a 4-star Carter out of Georgia. And he has not signed yet, but that's pretty strong right there. Georgia is sitting at number 6. We have never been ahead of Georgia that I can remember since Philip Fulmer. Ahead of Georgia. Wow, that's a shocker. And here's Ohio State at number 7. We did get one of your players that had flipped from us. Was it Legend Bay? And the Ohio State fans were giving me a bunch of grief about it. And he's like a low 4-star. He was quarterback though, and a tremendous athlete. And it's really hard to gauge quarterbacks who aren't really being treated as that in recruiting because he's the best athlete in the high school, so they put him at quarterback so he touches the ball every play. It's really hard to gauge those guys. Sometimes they can be phenomenal, but they're just in kind of the wrong position. But they're so desperate for that great athlete, they'll just put him at quarterback. So we don't really know what we've gotten in him. He may be terrific. But Ohio State was giving us a ton of grief about it, and I didn't think it was that big a deal, but they did.
Hey, that hurts.
They're sitting at number 7. We're ahead of them. We're ahead of Texas and A&M. Michigan, can't trust them. And here comes old Lane Kiffin. He'll be fine. And Florida, they moved up a little bit to number 16. They should be fairly happy. Clemson, this is the lowest I've seen them in a long time. South Carolina, number 23. Mississippi State, number 27. They are a 3-star U-type place, but they did get a 5-star. Good for them. Vanderbilt got that 5-star quarterback. If Vanderbilt gets creaked out of that playoff at 10-2 in the SEC, Sankey, he was assured.
Strength of schedule was going to be heavily into consideration with every decision.
Is it, Greg? You were assured. That's why you immediately jumped to 9 games. You big dummy. You are a big, big dummy. And now they've proven it. I tried to tell you that committee can't be trusted. You won't listen. Oh, you're a big dummy. Anyway, Ole Miss, 32. Missouri. Here's Auburn moving up a little bit to 34. It's hard when you lose your coach. And let's see here. Anybody else jumping out at me? Load more, the dreaded load more. I don't think Penn State's got hardly anybody. See if there's any more big-time teams that are waiting. There's Kentucky. They'll have to go into the portal heavy. UCLA, 83rd. That sounds about right. Load more again. I hope we eventually get to Penn State. Man, they have blown it so bad. They were at 130 last night. Let's see where they are now. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, Penn State. Where are you? Oh, 150th. Oh, my gosh. They got 2 players. Boy, did you blow it. You should have never fired James Franklin. Guy wins you over 30 games in 3 years, averaged like 11 wins, got you to the semis, the Final Four, and you fire him because he lost 2 games that he shouldn't have lost? Oh, this is why I was getting upset about Josh Heupel and them talking to him. I didn't want to be in the Penn State situation. I've been in a coaching search that went bad. It's awful. Believe me, you can wind up with a Jeremy Pruitt, and nobody wants that. So, Penn State, you overhyped yourself. You should have been very happy with James Franklin. Great coach. Players love him. All the players went to him. They all went to Virginia Tech. Sometimes you got to appreciate what you got and quit worrying about what Ohio State has. If you want to be Ohio State, spend like them. Spend $40 million. But if you don't spend that, be fine with being second or third in the Big Ten. You're still going to get in the playoff. You had a chance to win the Natty last year, you big dummies. That's another big dummy. Had a great coach. Sent him packing. Let that be a lesson to Tennessee. All you 1% that don't like Josh Heupel, you want to be Penn State? Want to be 150th in recruiting? Yeah, keep doing this about Josh. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom. That button right there won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. I don't ask much of you. And right over here is the most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we will see you next time on the Sports Talk J. Woo!
$21.2 million. Woo!
Woo!
Ow!
Love that money.